sometimes before we get the no, we give ourselves the no. So that's where I come and I say like, no way. You're going to be very firm. You need to ask for it. You need to be very firm. Just ask, sit down, listen, explain your situation. And then what's usually, especially when you are negotiating for a new position, usually the case, I forgot to ask about this, I forgot to ask about that. Have a template with questions to ask, especially if they are related to your non-negotiables.
Stop the bell.
Hello, and welcome to the new episode of Mama What's Next, the podcast for mums ready to take charge of their careers and build a work life they really, truly love. Today's guest is Daniela Sarmiento. She's a personal brand and career strategist and coach and speaker with the powerful message today: if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else will. It's been a real joy to speak to Daniela today, and we dive into how to communicate your value and open doors to leadership and business opportunities. About how important it is to be truly authentic and really speak up for yourself, because that is so essential, because if you don't ask, you don't get. She'll share her insights on identifying your unique success factors and overcoming the overwhelm that comes with finding your place as the go-to person and building thought leadership in your field. So get ready for an empowering conversation on stepping into your true potential and making your mark in this world. Thanks for being here today and enjoy our conversation. Are we also too impatient always to think that when we put something out there, people need to instantly recognize and,
Well, to be honest, that's interesting because I would say for the first 2 years in my business, I had that belief. I was like, I posted, no one said anything. Am I doing it right or not? Then I just decided, do you know what? I just need one person. Not because this person is gonna keep my business afloat. It's not because that. I got to connect so deep with what I've been doing that I just said like, I know someone will read it, even if this person is not giving it a like or is not acting now. But I hope this person is acting within the workplace.
Yes,
and that was okay for me. And now that's the mindset, because it's so easy to gain likes, fake followers. So many companies sell those. That's not the type of business or
so
service
true.
that I'm providing.
And it's so true. And I hear this all the time also from, business coaching, where it's not necessarily the people that have 100,000 followers that sell out their courses. Sometimes it's people that have only 5,000 people, because sometimes they have a much more engaged target group and something much more matched to exactly what they are actually putting out there. So, I think it's just our fear of rejection often, like when we put especially when I imagine, I've been doing this like more or less for a while. I've used to share other people's information always. Now I share my own thoughts a little bit more. That's also, it's a progress. Like it's, you realize like it's learning step by step. You're feeling more and more comfortable, I think. But I think it's also the fear of rejection. Like we're afraid to put something out there, especially when we're not used to doing that, especially when it's in a professional field, because obviously we earn our money there. There's such a big part of our lives, right? And we don't want to, what happens? You put that out there and then nothing.
Right. Well, that's interesting because I just had a client. She just left her position after 5 years in the same company. She didn't get a promotion right in the time she was actually even proposed that she was going to get that promotion. And out of nowhere, this other person from another business unit got the promotion. So not good, right? Anyway, she was looking for ways to get a promotion within the country, the region, or even go to another region. And that's why we were working together. And then she learned this information and she said, well, maybe I just need to leave. We were doing coaching. We weren't doing personal brand consulting, right? So, of course, she's leaving the agenda. She made that decision. I was really surprised because she really, really loved the company. But she wasn't seeing anything more for her in the short term. And it was about time, to be honest. Okay, what happened? We started then doing the sessions, the consulting sessions, personal branding. Okay, let's get the CV, let's do a mock interview. This is what's coming up. And then, of course, we get to talk about LinkedIn. And one of the questions that she just asked straight away, like so overwhelmed, like, but what about this? Me coming out of nowhere and then starting posting and sharing things in terms of what I know. And it's just like, yes, that's the right mindset that I would like you to have. Are you sure? Yes, 100% sure. Again, some people might see it, some other people might not see it. What's the reason behind you posting? It is not because it is a task that it needs to be completed, but you need to feel it as well, especially if you're going to keep working for another company. Be aware that you are going to be a leader, a new leader. Even she went higher in the ranks, in the professional ranks, right? And then getting more people reporting to her. So remember, you are a new leader. You were already a leader, but for another company, people might be wanting to follow you more.
Yeah.
You know, they might want to hear from you. It's not because they want to hear about your personal life or your private life. No, it's more in terms of what are the values that got you here. What are you learning as part of what you do, and what can you bring to the table? This is part of your value proposition, you know? And she's like, okay, in that way, I get it. But I didn't know that it was that way. So there is misinformation.
Yes.
There is lack of information as well. As we said, people are busy in their jobs. But at the same time, okay, sit down. And then, okay, are you able to write how your week went like? For the bad, for the good? Who can you serve by saying this? Of course, we have a percentage that is going to be serving you for sure, because you will, you know, when you get to write something, if you opt for the LinkedIn posts or articles, but at the same time, you start building that thought leadership process as well. You know, sometimes some posts might be related to work, team management, culture management, leadership in general, but at the same time, okay, new resources for the business that you are part of. And then just you are just the one knowing what you know. Take advantage of that, because again, at the end, if your future is not going to be in that particular organization, you might be able to be something for you. So I start working on that step by step, little by little, but start doing it. And you will feel it. There are no templates for this. There is no procrastination either. You will realize that afterwards, you know, that you say like, why I didn't post this.
But I have an interesting question, because you just say that, because I feel, isn't that like, where do you think is there a relation between procrastination and finding your why? You know, like, is that...
people think, I guess people tend to procrastinate the process of identifying that why. However, I believe we are most of all, are very connected to our gut. There is something there that if you get a quiet minute to listen to it, you will know your answer. You will always know. The problem is that we are surrounded by so much noise. So
Yes.
it's not in terms of procrastination. It's not because I don't have time. It's that we are listening to so many voices that then, as I said, escape for 1 minute. Close the door, your home office. Let's say if you have a home office, close the door, turn off the computer, turn off the phone, sit down, breathe. What do I need and why? And you will get your answer. Going for a run also helps.
Yes, I think
Because
that
it's a moment
depends.
just for you.
Yes. Like energetically, I think that depends what kind of footprint you are. Like, like thinking about human design types and things like that, which I'm sure you have heard about. But like when you're a person that regenerates by generating energy, also, like I personally, oh my God, I love going for a run because I have the best ideas. It's like you go for a run and people go like, that must be exhausting. And you're like, no, it's actually quite recharging. It's like I clear my mind. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. That's why what I said, like for some people, don't work just closing the door because they say, okay, I'm just by myself here. And now what? And they start looking for something to do. But for some other people, it's just more fresh air. Really, there is not that much time for it that you will need. And it is a process.
Yes.
For sure.
It's a process. And I think, though, as well, like what you just said, like you close the door and you start to feel, it's that I think this is what happens. And I noticed for myself in the past as well, when you run away from your truth. I think when you run away from your true answers, that's when you kind of go, because you don't actually want to face it. Like, actually you have to sit down and then you have to feel whatever comes up. And I actually had a mentor to help me work through this last year because I wasn't able, I was focusing so much on other people until I realized there were so many issues in my life and so many roadblocks and things. And I was like, I can't actually work through this myself. So I needed some help to explore what I'm running from. Because I was, it's like because you need to look at your own, situation, right? And that's the hardest thing to do because then we actually have to feel what's there.
Absolutely. Again, the thing is that you are not on your own and you are not alone. And if you get actually to connect with that moment where you know that you need to decide, okay, this is it now or never. I'm going to bring back this client situation again, like so many doors closing. She saw it open. Someone said it's going to be open for you. Wait there. Then the doors open, but someone else got there. It's not to say that you need to get over or pass over other people. But at the same time, okay, let's step back. And as it happened with this situation in particular, we went to a competitor, higher position, higher salary. She can't believe it, because she just said, like, out of this process, I thought that I was working for this, and actually this other thing that I never wanted to open the door for was waiting for me.
Yes.
She didn't need to apply for the job. She was hunted even before she was ready. It was incredible, and she's just in it. And now, of course, working in the messaging part, how she's going to deal with her first 90 days. But she also knew Now that she just get to debrief, okay, what's been happening, because I was so in a rush for this promotion in particular, that she wasn't realizing that she had actually people around her holding her hands. And she never realized that until it was the moment even to leave, people that she counted within the company, actually. Because a part of the process, I always ask, like, who is your mentor? Who is your sponsor? I want to know, like, even to get a sense, as I say, of the values of this person. Is this person liked within the company? Because I'm not in the company to get to know what's going on there, right? So people, candidates tell you anything.
Yes.
But just by the interaction, you get to know. So tell me more. Do you have any sponsors? Do you have any mentors? No. Yes, I usually talk with this person that was a manager 4 years ago. And then you start seeing, okay, this person in her own way, again, because she didn't work that hard for her network anyway, or even to put herself to promote who she was, right? But strategically, she had few people that were looking after her. So that's important as well, to not forget who might be your cheerleader, even though if that person is not fully involved in your process. Look for people to bring you that support, even just with one small conversation. You are never alone, never by yourself, and you will be always welcome to more opportunities. You will attract those opportunities for sure.
Yeah, very exciting. I think what would you, that's another question I had regarding like just the work situations that we have now, right? With corporate, and you mentioned this earlier also in our conversation. It's obviously a lot more insecure now, our situation in the workforce. There's, companies used to restructure every 5 years. Now they might be doing it every 2 years, right? So there's a lot of, layoffs constantly. As companies have to shift so quickly, and, it just feels more and more insecure. Like when you are consulting with someone that wants a good sort of work-life harmony or something, what would you recommend for them to do today?
I think it is really important to be authentic with your needs. First, with you. You need to know, and I usually ask clients to write down your non-negotiables.
Very good. So we don't do that just in relationships. We do it at work as well. Good, yes.
Yes. Yeah, because they might ask you, we need you from Monday to Friday, even if you don't like it. Especially when you are just starting, right? You are in a new position, applying for the job, or you were hunted. In terms of the conversation you are going to have, you are not being interviewed, you are having a conversation, especially for the level and my people currently are, right? Conversations. Be unique with what you want to ask, because it's pretty much about asking. Sometimes we feel afraid, right, to ask. And you might be given what you need. There are always ways to negotiate. Let's say they want you 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday. Understand why first before going, this is a no for me. Because sometimes they would like to hear the other way around. What are your needs?
Yes.
And what's behind you not wanting, or not actually you don't have the time, or because you have other activities to come to the office, like personally, for all those days. So it's a more understanding type of situation, getting into the conversation, understanding what do they need you, but also letting them know what do you need from them to actually support your way of living. Perhaps you have kids at home that need to be looked after a certain time from Wednesday to Friday. but it is more in terms of being transparent with what you're gonna need to deliver your best at your job. And there are ways, infinite ways to negotiate, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, it's a big topic. I had that with a mom as well, like where sometimes companies, it's just their go-to, like this is our structure and that's how we work. And she had applied, or we had applied at a media house and big media company. Mm-hmm. And normally in their news department, everybody has to do weekend shifts, so it's like part of like just in that. And I was like, well, we still got to try, this is what you want to do. This is your focus. Let's give it a try and then see what happens. So we actually then progressed, and she progressed with, and they did say, like, listen, normally we would actually, we want to be fair to everybody, but at the same time, we also need to recognize that you're perfectly skilled for the role, and the only reason we would be sending you away now is because you're a mom and you can't work on weekends. So. Because that was the situation at the end of the day, right? So they said, we can't do that, clearly. Like, but that would be the reason, like, or like an evening shift or something. So normally in that department, they would then only employ people that can actually work these shifts. But they said, well, you actually, you're a perfect match. That would be the reason. So we can't do that. So we need to make an exception. So it is exactly what you said. You do need to ask for what you need. And then sometimes things change.
You know what? Just by listening to that situation, right? It's interesting because sometimes before we get the no, we give ourselves the no. So that's where I come and I say, like, no way. You're going to be very firm.
Yes.
You need to ask for it. You need to be very firm. Just ask, sit down, listen, explain your situation. And then what's usually, especially when you are negotiating for a new position, usually the case, I forgot to ask about this, I forgot to ask about that. Have a template with questions to ask, especially if they are related to your non-negotiables. You cannot get on the job and then learn that, those shifts, or now I'm going to be asked to do this and this, and I didn't know. You need to inform yourself. Yeah. And at the same time, especially because I always want people to adopt the mindset of a person that's going to be hunted, not a person that needs to look for a job. Yeah. You need to adopt that mindset. So you're going to be sought after, yes, and you cannot become weak in the negotiation process because remember, they looked for you.
Yes.
You have more opportunities, even if you don't have them.
Yeah.
But you need to kind of play that role, because, we know that the market is competitive, but they wanted you. Okay, what do you want me? Learn more. And even you will get to learn more things about you that you don't even know.
Yes.
By getting them to tell you, no, because just you, we saw on your CV that you completed this project to reach this performance, and we want you. So now is your time to ask, okay, I want you as well, but we need to compromise to give a balance to this relationship, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a relationship, isn't it? Long-term relationship.
Exactly. Totally right. And yes, you do. I think women in particular, we are often afraid to ask the hard questions. And I even heard from somewhere the recruiter kind of saying, wait to communicate that you have children until you're signing the contract. And I'm like, no, God, no. Like in my world, I would never do that. And in particular, I actually, when I had my last big corporate job, I in the first interview, I even told them that I was a solo parent, because I need them to be aware that I will give everything and I bring all the passion and excitement and like the impact I want to create. And I bring all that to the company. But at the same time, please recognize that if my child is sick, it's going to be me that has to like run home. There's nobody else. And you need to be transparent, right? Like, and I wasn't like, they fully accepted that. Fully. And it was even like a time when my child was she was like 3-4 years old. And that's a hard age because they get sick all the time. Oh. So
Right.
you make up for it, because mums do. Like, we do make up for this time always. Like, it's like, when have you ever seen a mum sit at home going, ooh? It just doesn't happen.
No.
You know?
Yeah, that was the thing. I have another client actually that one of her situation was that she didn't want to compromise leaving her daughter to school in the morning. Mm-hmm. So she was in the negotiation part, and she said, like, I know if I'm going to go for this position, I will give more than the extra mile. Mm-hmm. But there is one thing, because we went through the whole list, negotiables. We move some pieces here and there. And then, okay, so what are we missing? Because I was expecting more the personal life as well to come up there. Even sometimes they are not that open even to share, like, well, I'm not sure if I should be asking for this. It's like, give me information. We need more to work on, And then she just said, like, well, there is one thing. So even if they don't agree to give me the company car, it's okay. And I just like, okay. So what's that? I just need to start at 10 and not at 9. Okay, tell me more. And it was just because she wanted to drop off her kid in the school.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
1 hour.
Yeah.
And she compromised not having the company car. She was just so going forward, like, this is going to be my strategy. I need a company car. On and on and on and on. And it's how much do you need the company car? I ask questions just to, like, get the real needs as well, because they need to be fair when they are negotiating in the company, in the organization. Just like, well, forget about everything I said. I just need this. And then at the end, you see, she got both. She got the company car, and she got the starting 1 hour after, because of course they want to look after her personal life as well.
Yes, it's interesting. And that's why I think your work is so important when you work, especially with also, also men, but especially also women. I think your work is so important because you are helping them not just being more successful, but it's like being like actually reaching that position and solidness in your position that actually communicates it to the company. They will do the same for the company, like it's actually, because this is what you do as a company. Like, you look at the person that you want to employ and you go, how's she going to behave for me? So if you have someone that is firm, self-secure, and knows what they want, that's how she's going to go out for you, advocating for you as a business, getting business for you, or like marketing contracts or working with agencies for you. This is how she's going to present herself, and that's what you want, right? So
absolutely. That's why I usually, I would say, push people to manage and develop their executive presence. You need to know and own the way you act, the way you communicate, even the way you look, the appearance, not for having an outfit, but for bringing the authentic you to any situation.
Yes.
People will be seeing you and will be thinking, oh, she knows how to walk the talk. She knows how to carry herself. You are commanding. not demanding when you communicate. And as I said before, this goes in a verbal way and in a non-verbal way. So it's just looking after you in all senses. And then you will be able, okay, this door is not for me, go to the next one. But it's just your full self who needs to be ready for it. And of course, get the support to get it done.
Yes. And it's, that door is not for me. I did an episode on this, like what your story from before with your candidate. This is why we not always get what we want, because there's something better waiting.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's like we've just got to embrace that and have faith and trust in the journey, right? So, yes, I think
definitely.
it was a good example for that, actually. So, I believe in that. Thank you so much for your time today, Daniela. So I will put all your information also below the episode that people can reach out to you if they want to learn more or follow you. And it's been really exciting talking to you about this. Like, I love how you're just like, it's the presence and the confidence. And I think people would very much benefit, if you want to work in this space and progress to work with someone like you, so.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate your time. And of course, the way you open this door for your listeners. That's the most important thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, and thanks for tuning in today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I did. And if you did, I would be super, super grateful if you could leave me a review. It really helps me to inspire more listeners to follow their own path. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. And if you are ready to take your next step to work-life happiness, I would be thrilled to help. You find all links in the show notes below. See you next time, and thanks for being part of ME.